Nina coming up behind me. Let's start again, shall we? Good morning, folks, and welcome to day 2 of commuting. It's not Tuesday, it's actually Wednesday. And the reason for that is, I'm sure some of you will remember that on the way home Monday, I was getting home quick because we had to go and pick up Chris's bike from the garage because it had a bit of work done. Anyway, so pick his bike up, get back to our driveway, and he drives over a screw. And on the driveway, his front tyre goes, psh, and that's it, it's gone. It's a Tuesday, because he had to go to Reading. He had to take my bike, so he took this, the little 125, down south, and apparently got on very well with it. So whilst, on the motorways it's a little bit more vibraty than his, it hasn't got the wind protection. He was a little cold apparently by the time he got to work. However, what he did say was that it was remarkable, and in the actual traffic, because it's so small and nippy, he was able to really filter very well. So I suppose if you're looking for a bike to filter on, this model, the 125, if you've got a full license, the 300's the same size, and it'd still give you a bit more power than the 125, and great for commuting apparently. So, well, I know that, I love my little bike, but clearly it works for people who normally ride bigger bikes and want a bit of commuting as well. So a different route to work today, because I'm going to, I've got a bit of a run round to do for my job. So I've got 3 different little places to go to today, so we'll see how long my battery lasts. I may not get home on it, but we'll definitely hopefully get the 3 runs in. So that's where I'm off to today. So different route, different commute. But when I know, I've also charged my helmet up because I finally got round to linking my helmet and my Senna to my phone. Well, I didn't at all, Chris did it. So nothing to do with me, he did it. Anyway, so it's finally been linked up, so if I need my sat nav I can pop it on. But I don't think I will. I hopefully remember where I'm going. I've been there enough times, but it's just because I'm going in from a slightly different angle. Chris did something to the revs on this as well, changed the rev meter so it doesn't flash at me quite so quickly. Oh yeah, not flashing at this, it normally would at 40. It's a busy little junction, this one. And about 1 billion road holes as well. So Chris took the L plates off to go to work, and he's put them back on for me this morning. The bike looked really good without the L plates on actually. All the more incentive to get my mod 1 done. And my mod 2, and then get my full licence for the 125. Another morning rider. Morning. So I'm going to sign off now till the next one. So I will be back. Right, let's head to the next place. Bit of a further run this time. Thought we would go the country roads because it's just nicer. Not really in the mood for motorway. Not even motorway, dual carriageway. Some nice little country lanes this way. It's one of the sort of routes that Chris and I, when we're going out and about, take fairly regularly. Oh, that's a bloody good rolled hole, wasn't it? Didn't miss that one. Right. Be a little careful on this road because it's single track pretty much, and stuff does come flying round it because it's a little cut through. Oh, I am liking not having that revving light going off all the time. Makes my life, well, not nicer, just I find it less irritating. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. That's not great, is it? Flipping heck. I don't want to catch that on a bike. Oh, bloody Herbert's flipping, dropping, dumping shit everywhere. Urgh. Oh, this will be fun. He's going to go over. He's got big old wheels. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know what? I sometimes drive along when I'm on my way to work or whatever, because I've now got this top box. It does make me feel like I'm missing something. So I've just been so used to having a backpack on. Right. Road. I was fiddling around with the mic before I got on the bike. I'm just hoping that I pressed all the right buttons on it for recording, otherwise you won't hear a bloody word I'm saying. Oh, who knows? Never know till you get back home. I think I did. All the lights were flashing in the right way. Oh, fun. Trying to remember to grip with my legs rather than my hands, to try and loosen up my hand grip, because I am a bit of a, as we all know, I grip the handlebars so tight that my hands get cold in the winter, and obviously it hurts after a while gripping too tightly, so I'm trying to remember to use my legs more. Don't always, sort of just catch myself and then think, oh, use your legs. I know it's just another one thing to think of that will just become something I do eventually, but we'll get there. It's difficult to think that I've nearly been 2 full years riding the bike now. It was something I've always dreamed of doing, and I suppose my parents, well, my dad and my brother were bikers, and obviously Chris, and kind of always wanted to do it. They don't approve generally, my family, but it's up to them. I think if I'd have been a male, they wouldn't have had an issue with it. That's the world we live in. So I suppose I could tell you a bit about why I've only started biking later on in life and didn't do it earlier. I suppose one was financial, because it's not cheap, is it? Let's face it, having 2 vehicles, unless this is your only vehicle, having 2 is never it's not affordable when you're younger generally. And the other reason is that around 8 years ago I had a full hip replacement and some major surgery on my leg, basically, and gave me a new lease of life. So I'm now a bionic woman. I've got bits of metal in me, and it was a condition from having dislocated hips as a child that was discovered very late, and as a result ended up with me being, I suppose, disabled. I had a disabled badge, and I lived in a lot of pain for most of my adult life until I had my hip replaced. And having had it done, it just kind of gave me a new lease of life. I walked, I did things that I'd never dreamt I'd be able to do. I mean, I didn't know they'd be able to replace it, to be fair. There's a very clever man called Mr. O'Hara in Birmingham, Royal Orthopaedic. And he replaced it for me. He was a very skilled surgeon. And it just meant that I could do stuff I never thought was possible. So I've walked up a Monroe, which was one of my dreams of doing. I'd never been able to physically do that before, so that about 4 years ago I managed to do my first Monroe. It won't be my last, it's just a question of getting up there and doing it. And got this bike, learned to ride this bike. So there's a couple of those things on my tick bucket list that I had that I've done. I'm sure there'll be more in the future. I can't think of anything major right now. Obviously just passing my Mod 1 and 2 would be a starting point. But yeah, so that's kind of why I ended up doing it later in life and not before. And I suppose there is the risk of I could fall off, like anybody really, and the damage to my hip could be so major it could mean I'm it could mean I can't walk anymore. But if you live your life thinking that way, then what's the point? I mean, I must admit I don't go ice skating anymore, which is a shame because I do enjoy it. But I was never any good anyway. Just one of those wobbly people a couple of times a year that do it at Christmas. But that, again, your risk of falling is quite high in that. So I don't tend to do ice skating anymore. Well, I just don't do it. Or roller skating, because you go to these children's parties and they've got roller skates and you think, woohoo, I'm 14 again, and you're really not. But yeah, so it does mean that my left leg it works slightly differently to my right. So when I drive an automatic car, because the motion of using the clutch on a car is quite a difficult thing for my foot to do. I have got a full license, I've got a manual license for a car, but it was just much easier for me to get an automatic. And to be fair, I love my automatic now. I wouldn't go back. Saves all the arguments in the car about who's changing gear when. So I'm sure that happens out there. But yes, so, prior to having my hip replaced, I was using walking sticks, and it was not fun. And it's very bizarre going from being in pain all your life to the pain going. It took a long time for my head to get round the idea that I didn't hurt anymore. And it was miraculous. It just felt amazing. So anybody out there thinking about it and you've been offered, bloody do it, because oh my god, the difference. Now the only problem with me is I've no idea how long it will last. Could do me 10 years, in which case I haven't got very much longer left with it, or it could do me 30 years, in which case not worth thinking about. It wasn't something that my surgeon was able to tell me, because I'm an unusual case. So my left leg is shorter than my right. It always has been just because of hip position, but now it's shorter because they took some bone out in order to make sure my muscles didn't spasm. And it means I walk a bit wonky. Does mean my balance that side is difficult. So obviously when you're supposed to put your left foot down all the time, that's been really hard for me to get my head round and get myself used to doing that. But I think I'm just about there now. It's just retraining your brain a bit, isn't it? Right, I've got to concentrate now so I'd go the right way. I don't think it's the first junction I need. The feeling it's the second. Do you know, as soon as I turned in, I knew it was the wrong way. Unless it's over that way. This is it. Yep, right one this time, just one too early. Should have put my sat nav on, eh? Said I plugged it in this morning, but completely forgot. Right, I do know this is a 60 along here. Right, so I'm going to sign off again, chaps, and I will be back when I am at the next bit of my commute. So, see you in a bit. Oh, well, I got a cup of tea in my top box, but I haven't managed to drink it yet. Hopefully it will still be warmish by the time I get to my final destination. But never mind. Busy morning. It's nearly lunchtime. So much development in this area. Everywhere you go, it's new houses and new infrastructure, and it's madness. Absolute madness. Middle of the country. Close to everywhere, and this is what happens. This all just used to be fields. Not anymore. Someone's making lots of money out of it all. I do find it very boring when I have to sit at 40 and it's a... Actually, I'd rather be doing 60. Never mind. Opens up again in a minute. It's 60 up here. No, my luck, I'll be stuck behind a lorry and doing about 30. Meow. Right. Open it up a bit. Tell you what, if I'd have done this journey using the car, I'd have probably used half a tank of fuel. Definitely much more fuel economical going on the bike. Getting on off the bike really is helping my riding. Just sort of constant practice, really. And I actually think I prefer it to driving the car sometimes. I want to be on it. And I didn't think I'd get to that point, and as I said before, I was worried at one point that I wouldn't start to feel like I love it or not. And I think that's just because I wasn't good enough at the time. Now I'm found my feet, as they say, with it. It's definitely much more fun. Anyone out there that's was like me 6 months ago, not really sure if it was going to work for them, just get on it every day and it just makes such a difference. Massive difference to my confidence and my enjoyment levels, really. Starting to think my lid needs a little bit of a clean, not only on the outside for the insect life, but inside could do with a bit of a squirt with something. I know Chris took his inside lining stuff out and washed it and it went all bobbly, so I'm not doing that. But there is some sort of spray he's recommended. It's a problem, I suppose. The more you wear it, the more the oils off your body affect it, especially if you're riding in the summer and you're getting all sweaty. Some of you might be prepared to filter up there, but do you know what? I don't think there's any point. Right, down onto the A14 junction then. Down onto the A14. And he's going, so I'm going to be safe because nothing's coming through that. For a 125, it's not bad at 70. It's not fabulous, but it's definitely gets there. Just about. blasted the cobwebs out a bit. Definitely a 5th gear one, this. Up the hill. Right, so this is coming up to the end of this bit of this journey. Not talked as much this time round, have I? Never mind, didn't know what to talk about. Normally you can't shut me up, so that's quite lucky for everybody out there. Right, so I will see you when I next get on. Hopefully my batteries will keep lasting. Hopefully I'm recording, because I press buttons, but you never know. I'm not great. It's getting easier. Anyway, see you all again. Lifesaver. What on earth was that, Ruth? Good job I did a lifesaver and there wasn't anything coming. I will be back, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said. Oh no, that's so bad.